What's good, space people? Khraze here with another No Man's Sky video. So we've entered the final stages of the Waking Titan ARG for some time now. There's a very short amount of time until the next update drops. Up until now there have been a number of reveals from it, but many, including myself, are expecting its ending to happen any second. If we've learned anything from the past events, stuff typically tends to ramp up towards the weekends, so definitely I'm expecting something to be shown now, or tomorrow or the day after that. In the past couple of weeks though, we were lucky enough to get stuff revealed even as soon as Fridays. Like for example, last week we've gotten the location for the London live drop, and since then, we've gotten a lot of stuff revealed. Nonetheless, there are 2 more weekends until the next update goes live, and on the 24th is when that will happen, and there's only one element left to be uncovered. For everybody out of the loop, there were 6 total elements on the Satcom70 website, each of them containing certain reveals about the next update upon unlocking them. I will provide a link in the description box where you can go ahead and check the website, see what was revealed so far. Of course, you already know that in order to unlock these elements, a certain series of puzzles need to be solved by the community, that is us, of course, the Citizen Scientist Division. Nonetheless, I'll briefly go over all of them quickly just in case somebody here has missed them. So the first element ever decrypted was the one for the Ringed Planet hologram. That was a while back, like 2 months ago or so. By then we already had a clue about ringed planets being planned for the next update. We've had them depicted on the cover art from earlier that month. Still, it was the first real reveal that confirmed we're going to get a new planet type in the next update, much to the happiness of the community who's been asking for this for such a long time. Probably ever since this game has launched, the community wanted different types of planets, not just the old boring ones. Up until today, this is the only planet type that has ever been hinted towards. We don't know if any other type is in the works, like for example gas giants, but since there was total silence on this one, I'm going to assume that just the ring planet type will make it in the next update. And since we're still on the subject of new planet types, this might also indicate towards another universe regeneration, much like how it happened previously to Atlas Rises. Since the game will most probably have to render this new planet type, that might not be possible without a total universe reset. There's a high chance for all of the planets in the universe right now to be regenerated this way, and for everything that has been discovered so far to go through another overhaul. So for example, if you're on a very beautiful planet right now, keep in mind that there's a high possibility for it to not be the same once next drops by. Like, I'm totally expecting my personal planet to be completely destroyed once next drops by. Still, this is something that the community has expected for quite some time, so again, it's a huge possibility for it to happen, just keep that in mind. The second element that we've got happened after June 16th, when a glitched exosuit schematic was discovered. It was a bit hard to read, but luckily many members of the community managed to process that image and make it a little bit more readable. It was also then when we discovered the use of those round ball thingies that we see all the characters in the screenshots and in the depictions having on their exosuits. Up until then it was mostly speculation, but after this reveal and according to the schematic, that was actually a blueprint projector. Most theorized its use is to, well, project whatever you're trying to build. The purpose of this projector is to show all the other players around you what you're actually trying to build. At least that's the opinion that a lot of people have right now, including myself. Nobody is certain yet if that part of the suit is indeed going to show anything whatsoever. It might as well just be something purely aesthetic, like it's probably not going to have a real world use, but the fact that it's there would just be a lore thing, or more like an aesthetic thing, not something that would have an actual use. Nonetheless, the fact that the schematic was quite different compared to the box cover art and to the other reveals kinda lets us to believe that some type of character customization will make it in this game. We already got a hint towards this from the box cover art. There is a depiction of 4 characters all having different types of exosuits on them, as well as different colors, different gadgets. They all range from very simple to more complex. For example, there are certain models that have like really heavy armor on them. Even the most recent one uncovered shows the character having a pair of loose pants. We've talked about this in the past. There could be a character builder, it could all be procedurally generated, or there might be a new loot system for armor sets or maybe even skins. There was an indication towards this when we saw the pre-order bonuses. We know that Xbox One players who pre-order this game will get an exclusive visor skin for their suits, so all in all, it's really hard to pinpoint exactly what Hello Games is planning with this, but nonetheless, a form of character customization is something that we can all agree that is going to make in the next update. So this is awesome, this is super exciting, it's exactly what players wanted, and I'm definitely looking to this feature the most. On the 22nd of June, the third encrypted file began showing progress. It eventually got decrypted later on that weekend, and we've got to see another 3D hologram of what appeared to be the new ship type that was previously leaked in the form of that glitched image. It was kinda similar to how the previous exotic ship was revealed back in Atlas Rises, or well, before Atlas Rises, when that specific ARG was still going on. The preview glitched image was like really hard to read even after all the edits that have been applied to it, but this was the first time we actually got to see how it looked in all that full 3D glory. Its purpose to this day is pretty much unknown, but it follows roughly the same reveal path as the exotic one did back when Atlas Rises was a thing. Up until now, it's been speculated to be some kind of co-op ship or something between the size of a freighter and our normal everyday ships. We're not really sure what the size of it is because we didn't really get any unit of comparison. It might as well just be a fifth ship type. We don't particularly need a fifth new ship type, honestly, but you know, anything can happen in this game. I'm not really sure what's on Hello Games' minds. Nonetheless, since its scale and size is unknown to us right now, we can't assume it's any more than just your regular ship. So I'm going to go with that assumption unless something different is going to be shown. On June 30th, the fourth element was finally decrypted, and upon clicking it, we were led towards an audio file containing what it was presumed to be an audio trailer for the next update, or at the very least some in-game recording. The audio itself starts with some in-game menu sounds, probably somebody deleting some save files or something along those lines. It's been speculated that this indicates our save games, our current save games, might not be useful with the next update. They might get deleted, because after that it pretty much begins a new game. So if you listen to it a little bit more further into it, it sounds as if the recording is of a new game, much like how you start a new game today with your internal robotic voice announcing damaged parts. That can also be heard on the recording itself, so we might not really know what this is. But what caught everybody's attention is the fact that there were certain footsteps that you could hear in the background, as well as a multi-tool being fired towards the end. It almost sounds like somebody was approaching our protagonist and proceeded to attack whoever just began this game, but that pretty much remains unclear, though it really sounds like that is what's happening in the background. Another big piece of information is the fact that the animal sounds in the background were significantly different and much better than what we currently have in the game. Like, there was a way wider variety of animal sounds. You can hear them somewhere in the second part of the recording, but it definitely sounds much better than what we currently have. There is so much less screeching and there's actually more realistic animal sounds. So at the very least, this fourth element indicates that we will get a revamped sound system, and that will mostly cover the animals, which I'm like super stoked about. I'm not sure if these animals are anything new. I'm not sure if this indicates that a new type of animal generation will make it into the game, but what we know for certain is that the quality of sounds has much been improved in the next update. This brings us to the last week's decrypted file, which is element number 5. This is again an audio recording, except it's significantly degraded compared to the previous one, and it seems as if somebody is reading a script of some sort. At least that's how it appears to me. I have provided a full transcript of it in the description box, so you can go ahead and check it out. You can also hear the recording itself if you want to. From the looks of it, it seems as some kind of exploration mission on a highly contaminated planet is going on, as it mentions some kind of solar flare causing gas eruptions. Since it talks about a crew completing its work and collecting minerals and scraps, it might be pointing out to some kind of multiplayer co-op mission with the purpose of gathering rare resources. The recording then ends with the mention of a capital ship and the route being in danger, probably some kind of pirate attack of some sort. The recording itself is pretty damaged and a lot of detail from it is missing, but this is the bulk of the transcript. It's noteworthy that the voice is talking about a capital ship. If you play this game right now, this specific terminology is not used in the game. One could argue that certain types of freighters right now can look like what's considered to be a capital ship, but nowhere in the game does this distinction exist. exist. Like all of the freighters, no matter their size, are freighters. That's how the game catalogs them. It's just that we, the players, for the sake of simplicity, set them in different categories. So like for example, we have Star Destroyers or capital ships, but I'm not really sure the game really makes that distinction. It could also be a clue to the new ship type, as this might indicate that the capital ship that the recording is talking about might be the very ship that was previously confirmed with the 3D hologram and whatnot. Another big one here is the mention of some solar flare in the beginning. While I don't expect this type of phenomenon to be put in the game, it might as well just be mentioned for storytelling purposes. It might not even be in the game. Sometimes in order to progress a certain type of storyline, some elements might be mentioned in order to advance it. So I'm not sure if it plays any part in the game whatsoever. But all of this brings us to today. We've got 2 weeks until the next update goes live. So this one or the next weekend, there is no other chance for the Waking Titan to finish. There are two possibilities that could pan out. Either we get to see the last file being decrypted this very weekend, maybe even as soon as today or tomorrow, or the second possibility that could happen is for Element 6 to happen in the span of the next 2 weeks. It happened in the past to go full weekends empty-handed, though it's not necessarily the norm. Typically, every weekend holds some type of new reveal. If we look back at Alice Rises, the Waking Titan ended precisely 3 days before that update went live. For those unaware, Alice Rises went live on the 11th of August 2017, which was a Friday, and the ARG was completed exactly 3 days prior to that. Of course, the patch notes and the trailer also dropped exactly in the same time as the update went live. The ARG ended with a final in-game image being revealed of a working portal, which was something that the community was looking forward a lot at that time, and it was something that people really wanted back in those days. Like, people wanted portals so much before Alice Rises. And of course there was also a message from Sean Murray himself congratulating the Citizen Scientist Division for solving all the puzzles and completing the Waking Titan ARG at that point. This is why I'm saying that this could happen right now as well. Like, we might have an intermediate reveal this weekend before the actual season finale of the Waking Titan, which might happen exactly next week. But the question that is probably on everybody's minds right now is, what will Element 6 even reveal? It's anybody's guess right now, and I see a lot of people expecting a trailer or some patch notes at the end. My take on this is that from all the possible outcomes, patch notes have the least chance of being at the end of the reveal. It simply doesn't make any sense from Waking Titan's point of view. Up until now, all the Waking Titan reveals had some sort of lore connection, either to No Man's Sky or Waking Titan's own lore. Patch notes about the game itself simply doesn't fit this criteria. In fact, I'm expecting them to strictly be shown on the 24th of this month, exactly the day the next goes live. History so far has proven this to be true, and there's no indication of things to change. The trailer is also something I strongly believe will only be shown on the same day as next update goes live. Just like with all the previous updates, both patch notes and the trailer were posted on the main No Man's Sky website as well as on their YouTube channel in the exact same day the update went live. Besides, as mentioned, the ARG is simply there to drive a story narrative, and showing the trailer or patch notes kinda breaks it. So if the trailer and the patch notes are unlikely to be in Element 6, then what might it be? Well, first of all, a lot of folks are starting from the wrong assumption that Element 6 is going to be any better or bigger than any of the previous 5 elements that have been decrypted so far. Nothing indicates any of the newer elements to be any more important than the previous ones. As a matter of fact, from 1 to 5, all the reveals were kinda random, and there was no regards to any sort of classification. There were a bunch of holograms, schematics, audio files, some videos, nothing set up in any specific order, much less that of importance. A somewhat reserved guess would be that at the end of the Waking Titan ARG, we will get nothing more than an in-game screenshot, and I would personally bet that this new screenshot would probably be of the new in-game player models. Hello Games has dodged this so much in the past couple of weeks. You could always see glimpses of them every now and then, like we saw them on the pre-order package bonus, we saw them in the Inside Xbox for like a brief couple of seconds. There's also the question of that very pixelated Xbox cover image that was revealed like a week ago. Up until now, that image was never fully repaired, and it's the reason why I assume that Element 6 will hold this image in full detail, so without any pixelation, without any glitches in it, like a full picture of in-game character models. Every time the Waking Titan ended, the last thing that was revealed was always something that the community was aching for. Last time with Atlas Rises it was portals. Many of you might not remember or forgot about this, but the lack of portals prior to the Atlas Rises was one of the biggest reasons why this game got so much criticism. Player models also fits this criteria, as it's something that the vast majority of the community is really looking forward to, except for the fact that it's not something that was ever promised. It was mostly talked about in interviews prior to launch, but it's definitely something that Sean Murray indicated to be left for the community to decide. So if there's enough need from the community, if the community wants it enough, they would definitely consider adding it. Obviously they did, they saw how much people would love to play in third-person mode, or at the very least know what they are. In the end, I might be wrong, I might be right. Nonetheless, there is a very short amount of time until the next update. So what do you guys believe Element 6 will be about? Do you think it's an in-game screenshot, or maybe even a few seconds of a video? Do you think it's going to be a trailer or even patch notes? Comment your opinions down below. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, a like and a subscribe would be greatly appreciated. Also go ahead and follow me on social media if you want to stay in touch with me more often. There's a link to my Twitter and Instagram in the description box. But this is all the time we have for today, everybody. I'll see you all in our next space adventure.